Sometimes you wake up in the morning feeling hot and spicy and just overall on fire. And then sometimes you wake up in Maricopa and you're Johnny. Ooh, welcome in to the PHNX Daily Show. The one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave us a 5-star review. Of course, what I'm referring to last night, Johnny.
I know what you're about to say, and you know what? Not good. But here's what I'm going to say. Hey, I wore my glasses today because I'm a gambling aficionado and I am an academic, and I will be better today.
This is nothing about you. It's just the contrast of yesterday's picks, and that's okay because sometimes you're hot and sometimes you're cold. And without further ado, we'll go over my picks first. 3-for-3. Pacers plus 5.5. That got a little sweaty at the end, but they covered. Suns easily won that game, and the Bucks took overtime, but they did win. So 3-for-3 on the picks. Then the props, my goodness, your boy is on fire. Tyrese Halliburton barely got over that total after scoring 8 points in the first quarter, but he did because he is good at basketball. Julius Randle also good at basketball, over 20.5 points. He had 18 at halftime. And then the Dort Hog easily smashed his PRA. So nice 6-for-6 day. Parlay those all together. You would have made some good coin.
How'd I do? I know how I did. Terrible. 0-for-3 with my picks yesterday. Pistons did not cover it. You garbage franchise. I'll never bet on you again. Just look like a trash team in the fourth quarter. My Knicks. What happened to my Knicks? That game wasn't even competitive. The Nets blew them out. The Nets have no good player.
Kyrie Irving.
I guess. Seth Curry's really good. That's somebody the Suns should try to get when they bring in KD. See if they can get both those players. And then, Mavericks. I think here's what I'll say about the Mavericks is I think they're going to feel the loss of Mr. Brunson a lot more than is it Brunson or Bunsen? Yeah. Bunsen burner?
Jalen Brunson.
They opted not to re-sign him. He's a good player. He's a really good player. Now he didn't play well for the Knicks last night, but he was a big part of why they beat the Suns in the Western Conference semifinals last year. So I don't think the Mavericks are quite as good as they were a year ago. Is that crazy to say? They're right around. I think they're 500 or maybe 6-4 on the season. I don't know. Some of these teams. Here's what happened. I fell in love with some of these teams that I saw do well in the postseason last year, and then the regular season different. And I have to get out of that mindset, right? Mm-hmm. And I think some of them are frauds, but they play well during the regular season. I'm not calling the Suns the frauds, but other teams. So we'll see. I have to get back into the regular seaon NBA groove.
The Mavs losing outright to the Magic is just hilarious to me.
That's a horrible loss.
Like 84 points. It's not good. But we survive. We strive, and we strive for success for tonight's game, and it's going to be a gross one.
I feel so good about my bets.
It's going to be rainy. It's going to be a little windy. People are over exaggerating on Twitter today, saying it was going to be 30-mile-an-hour winds. It's not even close to that. It's like 10. I don't think it's going to be as gross as people think. And the over-under, I looked at it this morning. I'm like, 41. What are we doing? Is this a trap? Because they scored 71 points in the last game. I don't really know where to go with this. I'm going to throw some smaller units on it because I don't know about the total. But this is what I like. I'm a big fan of the Falcons. Falcons money line. I'm just taking their money line. Not taking -2.5. Just going with the money line at -140. But I'm taking the over, and that's because I want to have fun tonight. So that's about all I got in terms of analysis. This game is weird. In-division games are always weird. I love my primetime division unders 100%. I love them so much. I think people are getting too cute with this, but as I said, I wouldn't be surprised either way. So I'm not going too heavy on the under or over.
Shame. I know your name, Shano, and I'm phasing you on the under. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Falcons. Steve Wilkes coaches the Carolina Panthers. This is his first Thursday night game as a head coach since October of 2018. Take a guess what the final score of that game was when he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Denver Broncos. Do you remember that game? When maybe you were chasing after some co-eds at ASU back in the day. Here's the final score of that game. Steve Wilkes, to a bad Broncos team, lost 45-10 on Thursday Night Football. Not a great head coach, certainly not good on a short week. Nobody's going to want to tackle today in the inclement weather. I think the over hits. I think I would tease that Falcons because I think Arthur Smith, good play caller. I think they're having an underrated year. I think you tease that line up to 5 or 6 if you can on DraftKings. I didn't for the sake of this show because I need a layup today after yesterday's debauchery, but both my picks are going to hit easily. Not even going to be close. I'm not going to have to sweat this one out.
Why were you shaking your head at me then? We have the same thing. The Falcons.
I thought you said the under.
No, I said the over.
Well, you're talking about the okay. So
no,
I agree with you.
I think people are trying to get too cute with the under because these teams scored 71 points last time.
Your intro may confuse me because you love Thursday Night Football unders. So
yeah, I do. Yeah, that's why I said it, because I normally love division and Thursday Night Football unders. I'm taking the over today though. I'm glad the confusion's out of the way.
I'm confused.
There's a lot of player props for tonight's game. A lot riding on Cordarrelle Patterson for me. DraftKings Sportsbook has a plus 200 odds boost with Bleacher Report betting. Right now, you can get it at plus 200 anytime touchdown for Cordarrelle Patterson. Their last three haven't gone well, I will say, but Cordarrelle's a different beast. The man is going to find the end zone tonight. I like it regardless. So here are my props. Love Cordarrelle anytime touchdown boosted to plus 200 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you don't have the DraftKings Sportsbook app, download it, and I'll tell you why in a second. Kyle Pitts, I'm taking his under on receiving yards. This is kind of a please do something in fantasy for me game for him. But I also just think that, look, this team doesn't pass the ball, and they don't like Kyle Pitts. So I'm taking the under 37 receiving yards. I don't know what to tell you. And then Philip Walker, Mr. PJ himself, I'm taking his under on interceptions. I think they'll be running the ball a lot tonight. That's plus money at plus 140. Plus, he had 2 interceptions the last game and threw for 6 yards total. 1 interception the game before, but then in his other starts, he hadn't thrown a pick. I think people are a little bit overreactive to this line, and they like him to throw a pick tonight. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of opportunities to. And plus, even if a tip drill happens, it's raining, so it might slip out of the hand. So I like the value on the under on his interceptions tonight, Mr. Philip Walker.
I like all those. I think Carolina is going to move the ball more effectively than people think. I just don't think it's going to be the conventional way. That goes to my props. DJ Moore is going to be held in check from AJ Terrell, phenomenal corner for Atlanta. That means they're going to turn to Terrence Marshall, who has gone from draft bust, afterthought from LSU last 2 weeks with PJ in the lineup, has looked really good. And 80 plus yards, I think, against Atlanta in that close loss. And so I expect him to feast again on their secondary, their number 2 corner, number 3 corner. And then last week, I think notched his first touchdown of the season, Shano. So they're looking his way more. And then again, on the flip side, DJ Moore, take his under. He could still find the end zone at some point, but I don't think he's going to go off because of who's guarding him. And de facto, Terrence Marshall is going to have a big day.
AJ Terrell is not playing. Do you want to rescind that pick?
He's out?
Yeah.
No. I'll double down on it.
I love it. Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
What's going on here?
He's always banged up. He's a good corner. He's just always banged up. What I said about the DraftKings Sportsbook got plus 200 odds boost on Cordarrelle. There's a lot of odds boost going on. There's same game parlays. Get in on that action today when you download it using that promo code PHNX. New customers can bet just $5 if you use that promo code on the NBA. If you win the NBA money line that you threw $5 on, you get $200 in free bets. It's just that easy. Plus, when you combine all these picks that we give you today, you can get up to 100% odds boost with DraftKings stepped up same game parlay feature on the NBA, NHL, NFL, whatever you may please. It's super easy to use, super user friendly, and just makes watching football a lot more fun, especially for games like this when it's raining and gross. So download it today. Promo code PHNX is promo code PHNX this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See those show notes for more details.
Let me give you another one real quick because this is a weekly special on DraftKings. We remember what Joe Mixon did last week.
Oh, he's taking the Cordarrelle 100 yards?
So fresh from the field, as it's called on DraftKings. We don't have a graphic made, but check DraftKings right now in the weekly special, same game parlay. Cordarrelle, if he goes for over 100 yards and a touchdown, plus 700. How about that on a Thursday Night Football? I think they'll try to make an emphasis because they were so bad against the run last week with Joe Mixon. I just don't think they have the personnel to do it. And I think Cordarrelle, to me, this offense goes as he goes. They, as you mentioned, Channel, they want to run the football. Mariota wants to get on the outside and boost. I think the 100 yards might be safer than the actual touchdown itself.
Yeah, he the last full game he really played because against the Chargers he played, but Tyler Algier,
they were easing him back in.
Yeah, Huntley got a lot of touches. He went for 13 for 44 and 2 touchdowns. But against the Seahawks, the last time he had a full run, he had 17 carries for 141 yards and a touchdown. So
he was unbelievable. Remember, we watched at the studio. He was unbelievable that game. And they also did not have a lead in the second half against the Chargers last week, which forced them to throw. I think we all expect Atlanta to have the lead for the majority of the game tonight. Thus, they're going to want to run the football.
Yep, absolutely. Johnny, anything else before we get out of here? Kind of a loaded day in terms of PHNX.
PHNX Cardinals has a well-deserved day off, but multiple podcasts from yesterday. Hard Knocks recap last night. Myself, Bo Brock, Steve Trout from HBO Films. We had yesterday's show that you can now get in audio-only form as well as we begin to preview this weekend's matchup of potentially Colt McCoy versus John Wolford. Barf on my seat, but tons of content. And then our definitive preview in studio tomorrow. Frank Sanders and Bo Brock ahead of Rams weekend, Shano.
You just claim you're going to barf on your seat?
I am, yeah, because it's like that one guy who was at that NBA game. He was courtside, he was just barfing on his seat. Remember that video?
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
That was a good one. PHNX Underdog Fantasy Show live today at 2 p.m. If you have any fantasy questions ahead of the playoffs, please make sure to tap in, ask some questions in the chat. We're also going to be playing Jeopardy, mid-season Jeopardy. It's going to be a good time. I spent a lot of time making this last night, and it's going to be really fun. And I have a feeling that my co-hosts aren't going to be able to get a lot of them right because, IQ points.
Will you talk about Daddy Fantasy potentially winning 2 of 3 in our league? Is that something that you'll bring up?
I'll address it. But until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. Follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Fenner. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. We're live here every Monday through Friday at noon on PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure to follow PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll be back tomorrow live at noon every day. Peace, love, and Philip Walker.